Hello. Welcome back to Saliva Cast. I am your host, Dr. Deborah Haller, dentist, scientist, university professor, past president of the IADR Salivary Research Group, and founder of Saliva Pro. And my mission, my purpose is to bring you evidence based salivary diagnostics to your everyday clinical practice. If you're joining me for the first time, I am a dental scientist. I have published extensively in international journals, and my true passion is to translate science into clinical practice, empowering dentists like you to diagnose earlier, treat smarter, and keep patients healthier for longer. And the title of today's episode is indeed very special and says it all. If you want to feel better, look better, and live longer, start by fixing your mouth. So, this is a simple yet very important message that is about time we start giving to our patients because dentistry is not just about teeth and smiles. It is indeed about the entire body. And the key player, so one of the key players, let's put it that way, that ties it all together is saliva. Yes, your patient's most powerful yet most overlooked diagnostic fluid. Let's start understanding the mouth as a systemic gateway. For too long, dentistry has been treated as cosmetic. But the truth is clear. The mouth is also cardiovascular. The mouth is metabolic. The mouth is neurological. The mouth is systemic. And let's be honest, it can be that us dentists, we keep treating gingivitis, for instance, as if it were a local inflammation, when in fact it's a systemic alarm bell. We keep looking at blood tests for earliest signs of disease, while the mouth, yes, our patient's mouth is already showing us those signals. Scientific evidence, I did tell you, I am a dental scientist, has long established that periodontal disease is linked to systemic inflammation, to insulin resistance, and to vascular dysfunction. There's multiple meta-analysis showing all these associations. They go from neurological diseases, cardiovascular diseases, preterm birth, issues during a pregnancy, even all the way correlating periodontitis to erectile dysfunction. And if we think about it, they do share the same inflammatory and endothelial pathways. There's even a systematic review of that with meta-analysis. Oral inflammation is now considered a risk factor for cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. So here's the question. If the mouth is such a powerful early warning system, why are we still ignoring it? let's look at saliva. And I want to show you that dry mouth many times can be the tip of the iceberg. Every time your patient has dry mouth, something much deeper may be happening. Yes, dry mouth can be caused by medications. Today, almost half of all medications available cause dry mouth or simply dehydration, but it can also reflect an exocrinology, a dysfunction of the salivary glands that is part of a systemic condition. So it's not just discomfort, it's the tip of the iceberg. Because when saliva flow is reduced, buffer capacity drops, antimicrobial activity declines, biofilm mature faster, and inflammatory signals increases. This creates a vicious cycle: dry mouth, gingival inflammation, dysbiosis, and systemic inflammation. Even mild hyposalivation, often unnoticed. Even the patients, they many times they don't feel anything, but it's there. And it silently contributes to gingival degradation and chronic systemic exposure to oral pathogens. This is where you, yes, you dentist, we have a choice. Will you continue to be just a dentist, or will you step up as an oral physician? And I learned this from this dentist, that my mentor that I admire so much, Dr. Chris Coachman, that the mindset shift that we all need. Dentistry, it's not just about fixing teeth anymore. It's way beyond that. And it's about treating the patient as a whole. So the truth is, the choice now is ours. How do we want to move forward towards the future? And now let's go even deeper, because this is Saliva Cast and I always love to bring you the best information here. Saliva as the new blood. Yes, saliva, it's not just lubrication. Saliva is the new blood in health diagnosis. Why? Well, because it actually carries the same molecular information as blood, but with unique advantages. It reflects systemic health in a non-invasive, very accessible, and repeatable way. Let me give you some examples here. Neurology. Okay, let's talk about this. Neurological conditions. In Alzheimer's research, it has been proven saliva is already being studied for markers like tau protein and lactoferrin, which are linked to early disease detection. If you do now a quick and easy Google patent search, you find not one, not two, but hundreds of patents about salivary diagnostics, early detection of Alzheimer's disease. Yes, microbiome. Today, we have salivary microbiome tests available worldwide, mapping oral bacteria, fungi, even viruses. to identify oral and systemic risks. This is a reality. This is already available at your country, at my country. And how about genetics? Saliva-based genetic testing is already mainstream. Patients can discover their ancestry, but also their risk for cancer, for autoimmune, for metabolic syndromes, all through a non-invasive genetic saliva test. And how about hormones? And here's one of the most practical applications: measuring steroid hormones for cortisol, testosterone, estradiol, progesterone. Saliva, yes, saliva is often even better than blood. Why? Because saliva measures the biologically active fraction of the hormone, the free hormone, the part that actually acts on tissues. Serum tests often measure total hormone levels, which may not reflect the patient's real physiological rate, physiological state. So let's be clear. Saliva is not secondary. Saliva is the future and, as you can see, the present of health diagnostics. So let's bring back to the clinic, okay? Clinical implications. Dentistry as medicine? Well, every clinical decision you make, know this, and I'll repeat. Every clinical decision you make has systemic consequences. This has been proven by science. This is every day in your dental office. From the toothpaste you prescribe, the frequency of recalls, the choice to measure salivary flow and pH, the moment you decide to intervene in gingivitis. These are not just hygiene decisions, they are strategies for preventing oral diseases, but also for preventing cardiovascular disease, metabolic dysfunction, and even dementia. And when you ask a patient about dry mouth, when you run a very simple, validated salivary flow test, when you explain that their mouth is the first line of defense, so when you explain to them that their mouth is the first line of defense, you're not just treating their smile, you are protecting their body, their vitality, and their future. So what does this mean for us as dentists? It means our role is changing. We are no longer teeth technicians. We are, yes, we are true oral physicians, guardians of systemic health through the gateway of the mouth. With salivary diagnostics, we can monitor inflammation, microbiome balance, and systemic biomarkers. We can anticipate risks before they become diseases. And we can empower our patients with new understanding. Oral health, it's not vanity, it is vitality. The future of healthcare is predictive, preventive, and personalized, and saliva is at the center of it. Let me leave you with this thought. Every drop of saliva carries a story about your patient's health. The question is, are you listening? Thank you so much for joining me on today's Saliva Cast. If you found this episode inspiring, share it. Share it with a colleague. Subscribe to our free newsletter and connect with me here on Spotify, on your favorite podcast streamer, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Dr. Deborah Heller on Instagram. Together, let's transform dentistry into a medicine that heals beyond the mouth. I am Dr. Deborah Heller, and as always, an honor to connect with you, and I'll see you at the next Saliva Cast.